Hey friends, welcome to the Moms in Real Estate podcast. I'm Kristen, your host, a community builder, an agent, an entrepreneur, and a mom. And this podcast is for moms that are building a business and they're building life, and we're not pretending like we have it all together. I'm so happy you're here. Let's dive into our episode. Hello, ladies. Welcome back to Moms in Real Estate. I have Alyssa Stalker here today from Coffee and Contracts, which if you guys follow along with Moms in Real Estate, you know we love coffee and contracts. So I'm so excited to have you here because you are also like, your job title is like one of my favorite things ever because you are a brand strategist, and I love everything branding. It's like just so much fun. And I know, like, I was reading your bio and it said you've helped over 33,000 real estate agents with social media. Like, that's so cool. So I know that's a lot of our audience's biggest struggle. So I'm so excited for you to be on, for you to share your journey, and us to talk all things social media. So welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and just to hang out with you. I've always been so inspired by you. So this is like a big moment for me.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. And today's a huge day for her, you guys. Her podcast is like official today, right?
Yeah, it's out. First 3 episodes. We did like a big launch. So,
Yeah, so side note, and we'll talk about this at the end, we'll put it in the show notes, but you guys have to check out, it's called Above Asking, correct?
yeah.
Yep. It's going to be one that you need to like definitely binge and keep on, I don't know, like your reminders so that you're definitely listening. So, okay, Alyssa, if anyone's like, okay, I don't even know what Coffee and Contracts is, like I don't know who Alyssa is yet, like why don't we just start with like, remember back when you were in production? Let's
Yeah.
talk about like your journey in real estate and what's brought you to the brand strategist at Coffee and Contracts.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a former real estate agent. It's still so weird to say because I had like my last sale like only 6 months ago. But I have been in real estate for, I guess, almost about 7 years, almost or more than somewhere around there. And before that, I was in digital marketing and owned businesses with my husband. I kind of fell into real estate by accident. We were starting to invest in properties, and at the time, I got my license like for no reason at all. And it just kind of clicked like, oh, I could sell these properties and I could do the marketing. And I fell in love with it. I was a new mom. I had just had a baby and was pregnant with my next one like right away. My kids are a year and a half apart. And I just thought, what a perfect career for a mom because it's so flexible and it can really, marry all the different skill sets that I have in business and marketing, and that's what I wanted to do. So I kind of just decided to go for it. I started documenting my journey with social media. I built out my own websites and funnels and all kinds of stuff that I knew how to do before becoming to real estate, and agents started asking me, how are you doing this? Like, you teach me how to build a website, you teach me how to drive traffic, email marketing, and just people started to ask me about these subjects that I was really just openly sharing about in different communities. So I started putting together classes, and I've had courses I've developed, digital products. I've spoken in a lot of communities, and that part of the business just really lit me up, like helping other people. And I loved helping other people through transactions, but I think over time, I kind of started feeling this pull in both directions. And finally, I decided to just go fully into helping agents with their marketing. And I teamed up with Coffee and Contracts. They brought me on to be our head of member education. So taking all of that training and content and context and bringing it to their product, and it couldn't be a better fit for me. So
Yeah, I mean it's just so fun, and when you're into marketing and branding and all that stuff, you're connecting with a brand that is so great. And so I think this story is so cool. I was talking to her the other day, you guys, and I was telling her what I love about this podcast is, she's like, I'm not in production anymore. I'm like, but for one, you were in production for a long time, and two, like, the best part about real estate is that it's not a one size fits all. There's so many different avenues in how to live in this industry. And so really showcasing like your journeys is just a really cool story.
yeah, and I'm so thankful for it. And I think I thought that I really loved doing transactions because I wanted to help other people and be a part of these big milestones. But what I've really learned is that I still love to help people. It's just become more niche. I love to help agents. And I am obsessed with branding, and one of my favorite things is to take outside influence of what works in other industries. That's how I started building my real estate brand and bringing it to real estate and helping agents really carve out a brand that feels like them. I think that's so important in what we do because it's all about your personal brand, and we're constantly chasing trends or feeling like we got to copy this or mirror or be inspired by what's working with other agents, and we just kind of follow along, and it's not always you. So my favorite thing is to help agents find like what works for them.
Who was somebody when you were in production that you were like, okay, I really like what they're doing in their industry with social media. How can I bring this into my real estate business? Was there somebody like for me, it was Jenna Kutcher, right? So like I loved watching and consuming anything that she did. And so I feel like I try to bring a lot of what she teaches. Who was kind of your inspiration?
Yeah, I really liked her. I don't know if you know who Allie Reeves is, but she had a podcast and she had this model where she was more like podcast first than Instagram. But she always talked about being like really bold and developing your brand, and just she really made like a lot of like statement, and that's kind of what I did when I built my real estate brand, like my team that I built and stuff like that. So I was really inspired by her. I was really big into like listening to podcasts that were outside of real estate, and I learned so much from that. And then of course there's some really great creators. I love Julia Broom. I think I still like binge her all the time. I think she has such cool branding, but she's so creative in the way, like she almost makes it really playful for people. So if you're like someone who struggles to like, what does that even mean? How do I get into branding? Like, what should I do? She makes it like really fun, I feel like, to where you're kind of just having like your creative time versus like fully businessy strategizing, if that makes sense. Like she just makes it really.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I know just because, content is something that has been, I'm in rooms with agents all week, every week, and we actually curated content days. This is something that we've done for 6 years now for real estate agents because even if they're like pretty decent on social media, it's like a constant struggle for them and for me and for everyone, you guys. Like it's something that like we have to constantly like stay on top of. A
Yeah.
lot of us don't like to create content necessarily, or like we don't want to show our face. We don't like the way our voice sounds. I don't like how half my mouth doesn't move. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, I don't care. I know it works. And so I'm going to go and put out that content. Do you feel like, have you always loved putting out content, or is it something that you're like, okay, I've really like learned to love it and embrace the process and then get creative with it? Like, what do you feel like?
Totally same. And I talk about this a lot. Like it's almost easier for me, like it is easier for me to like fully put myself in someone else's content and brand and business than it is to do my own. Um,
Hmm.
you know, those who can't do teacher, however it goes. But no, I go through phases. Like I love sometimes when I just redid my podcast brand, and it was
It's so
so
cute.
fun. Thank you.
It's so cute.
It was such a crazy process because the podcast designer or podcast, the brand designer that I hired, her name's Allie, and I'll share because she's bomb. It's called Almost Friday Designs, and I found her on Instagram. And the process started with just like creating a Pinterest board, and I know how to build a brand, and I'm literally sitting there just like pinning stuff I like, and it's like red cowboy boots to like cute aesthetic wine photos, like nothing to do with the real estate podcast. And I turn it over to her and I go, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I am just like giving you stuff I like. I don't even know how this ties into a real estate podcast at all. And so this is just what I have right now. This is what I can do. And she goes, yeah, I don't know how this has to do with the podcast, so let's try again. And but what she did was she created a look, like kind of like a lookbook mood board that helped tie all these elements in. Like, so when it came to like the cowboy boots, the red cowboy boots, she weaved in like the color of Cabernet because I like wine and the boots were that, but then one of the colors is like leathery and it represents like legacy and that whole vibe. And so she really translated that like perfect for me. And it's so funny because I can do it for other people, but for myself, it's so hard. But yeah, I struggle with my own content creation on and off. It's like sometimes you're in the mode, sometimes you're not, but I've really learned to create like guardrails for when I think I'm going to be spiraling or there's not creativity coming to me. I have a strategy that I stick to. Sometimes I fall off, life happens, but I try to be as consistent as possible because I know how it works and I know how important it is.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are hearing it. Like, even she's not consistent sometimes. So don't beat yourself up if you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been posting or whatever it is. Like, get back on the horse, you know? Um, I actually feel like, we can even take this two things. First, I'm going to say, like, when you feel like, oh, I don't know what to create, and you're like, you're in your own way, like kind of Alyssa's like explaining with her going through this branding process with creating content. Even like one thing that I love about Coffee and Contracts is I log in and I'm like, I have no clue, no idea what I want to post. And I go in and I just go to the vault and I just scroll, and all of a sudden it gives me all these prompts. And my business looks a lot different than an agent that's looking for buyers and sellers. And it still works for me so well. So if I'm looking for buyers and sellers and I'm in Coffee and Contracts, just to give you an example, I was in there, I think this morning, and it was like 3 questions that sellers asked me last week. And so I was like, this is perfect, because all of a sudden you don't have to sit there and be like, what am I going to post? You're like, perfect. I'm going to sit and think, what are the most frequently asked questions that sellers have been asking me? And then you're going to throw in a cute picture of yourself and you're going to go along the prompts that it tells you to do. So it's so nice if you're like, I struggle with this, to have something like that to go into. I just think it's so helpful. But I think we even need to take this conversation like back. Like, let's say somebody's like, what the freak are you talking about? Like, I have never thought of my personal brand, my real estate brand. I still have @KW email address, right? Like, oh my gosh, did we just tell you girls? Like, if you're branding your brokerage, for God's sakes, please stop right now. I hope you take that away today. So maybe if you could just talk to somebody that's like, I do have a KW or a, whatever, Realty Executives, Real, whatever brokerage you're at. If you're sitting there and you're branding your brokerage and not you, let's have a conversation to those people.
Yeah.
Hey girls, did you know Moms in Real Estate has a referral network? That's right, we do. You guys have to check it out. It's called the Moms in Real Estate Referral Network on mirereferralnetwork.com. And you can search for moms in real estate all across the United States that can be your referral partners. Make sure to check it out now.
Absolutely. So, like your brand and your domain, that's your own personal real estate. And I know that you guys can understand in these terms, when you're marketing your brokerage, you're like you're renting their brand for yourself instead of taking ownership of your own brand. And so that's why it's really important. And at the end of the day, people don't, and you might have heard this before, but people don't hire you because of what brokerage you're at. They hire you because of you. And so that is the most important thing that you could bring to the conversation, to the table, to the marketing, to the advertising, is who you are and how you help who you serve.
Yes. So 100%. And doing kind of like what you were talking about, going on Pinterest, and because a lot of times some of us aren't that creative. And so when we're like, what do I even want my brand to be? Such a good practice is like, just type in, like I just did this practice, and it was like, I went to Pinterest and I said, bold colored branding, and just like go through and scroll and see like what sticks out to you and start to create a board, and you'll start to create a feel. So, and you got to reach out to her branding girl. She just, what was it? It's Almost Friday.
Almost Friday. Yeah. Almost Friday design. Awesome.
Yeah. There's so many great people. So that's a good one to reach out to. So let's talk about, you've got a 6 and 7-year-old. We were cracking up 6, 7, and that's been your whole life in real estate, right? So you've had literally, you got into it like becoming a mom, which is my journey too, right? Like I literally got into real estate because I did not want to go back to corporate America. I was like, I am not going back to GoDaddy. And so I got a job in real estate and I had a newborn. And so just super similar. And I think that a lot of the girls on the podcast, a lot of girls listening to the podcast are in that situation where they're like, oh my gosh, like I've got these little kids at home. I don't want to go get a 9-to-5 job. Is real estate. We just had a message this morning that was like, this same scenario, should I go get my real estate license? So maybe tell us like about in the beginning, like was it a struggle? Like what were some like
Yeah.
big takeaways that you had?
Yeah, I think anything worth doing is hard. And it it's never easy like anything that you're doing. Just being a stay-at-home mom is hard. So throw in any sort of work into the mix and it's a struggle. But I knew that that was something that I could manage, that I could do, because I wanted to be with my kids more. And so I just made it work. And I felt like social media was the best way for me to build my business. Number one, I had a background in digital marketing, more like websites and email and that kind of thing. I had to learn how to do social media. I wasn't great at it from the beginning. When I was in digital marketing, like Instagram, like when I first started, this will date me, Instagram was just coming out and it was like a place where you just put up pictures with a filter on them. It wasn't yet like a total marketing tool. So
Hmm.
as it became that way, I had to learn how to do it. And I just learned by doing, and I thought, you know what, this is what I have to work with. I'm not going to go like knock on doors with my kids. And number one, that feels very dangerous, but also I just like don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was professional or what have you. So I thought if I just could show my personality and meet people online where I can't meet people in person, that could work. And so I was like on stroller walks, like holding my camera up, talking to my phone, and replying to DMs and creating content like while I'm pushing them on the swing at the park. And there are times where I'd put my phone down and I got to be with my kids and it was amazing. And there were times while they were busy or while they were napping, I just worked with the time that I had. I think you can also really manipulate your schedule around them. It's so flexible. I remember like when my baby, like we were still feeding, she would do like a 4 a.m. feed and then go back to sleep. I worked from like 4:30 to 7 till they all woke up. And I know that sounds crazy for some people, like I could never get up that early, but I was kind of already awake from that. And it became like peak creative time. I got so much done in like that 2.5 hour pocket that I would have never gotten done all day, just to have like that focus block. So if anybody has really little ones that's listening to this, try waking up early, even if it sounds miserable, because it might be like the time that really works for you. And you learn to find like moments of leverage wherever you can, and that's what being a mom is, right?
Yeah, totally. That's actually still my favorite time to work is
Yeah,
4:30 in the morning. I'm
yeah,
crazy like you. Everyone's like, I'm so sorry I'm messaging you this early. I'm like, this is like, message me. I'm like, this is literally the time that I'm like, I love working. I'm not like in the summertime, it's my favorite. I
yeah,
try to get so much done before I go to the gym at 8:30 in the summer because then I
yeah,
can like, so yeah, I
yeah,
mean, you got to figure out, and I think too, like even like you're creative in the morning or you're able to get stuff done. Some people like you genuinely might be like absolutely not, and you might have that time after the kiddos go to bed, and like you're working in bed, and that's okay. You got to
yeah,
do what feels good to you.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about coffee and contracts. And if someone's like, I don't even know what the heck that is, let's just give them the scoop. Go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, so Coffee and Contracts is essentially a social media membership for real estate agents. We help you generate leads from Instagram. That's like at its core, if I could give you like an elevator pitch in one sentence, that's what we do. But we really in reality do so much more than that. We really focus a lot on strategy because it's not just about throwing up a post and hoping it lands in front of a buyer or seller. We teach you really how to grow on Instagram. And I want to say, like a side note, that you might not realize real estate agents have an unfair advantage marketing on Instagram because you don't need thousands of followers and you don't need thousands of clients buying a $15 product to have a business. You need like one person every so often to resonate with your content, to decide to raise their hand and say, "Hey, I think I'd like you to help me." So if you could just like dial it back and not focus on like, the big scary vanity metrics, and that you just need one relationship, it's like really a place to build relationships. I think it becomes so much more feasible to people. So I want to say that first.
Well,
But
that
we,
shift
oh,
alone, that
go ahead.
shift alone of just being like, I'm going on here to build relationships. It feels so much better than, oh, I have to go show my face and I have to do this. Like,
Right.
that mindset shift should probably help a lot of people.
Totally. And if you could think of it as like your storefront or your office, and there's like, people that you're going to interact with throughout the day, just interacting throughout the day, like showing up as yourself. This is just the space in which you're doing it. I think we tend to overcomplicate it. And we hear a lot of like guru advice, and you're probably following a lot of people that teach social media, and you're just taking in a lot of info. I like to really like simplify it, and if you're a real estate agent, your number one job is to create relationships and conversations, and that's all we're trying to do. So at Coffee and Contracts, we create very strategic content that matches different content pillars. Like, you need to show what you do, you need to show listings, you need to show the product. So we help you creatively show listings and market those, because it's not just about throwing up a property video. You need to create awareness, create attention, and create demand with that. So we teach you how to do that, and we give you all the prompts, the templates, the hooks. And then we also help you with authority builder content. And we call it authority building because people don't come to Instagram for tips like, 3 tips to make your house appraise higher. That's just not what people come to Instagram for. They come there to be entertained, to connect with people, and that's just not entertaining to most. So we help you with this authority builder content, position yourself as an expert. So think of it as making real estate interesting and putting you at the center of that. So that's really what that kind of content is. And then we focus heavily on a local content strategy. So we teach you how to basically create local content that's bingeable, that's shareable. The algorithm loves it and pushes you out to more people, helps you cast a broader net and really build that following. So that's kind of like our 3-prong approach to the content that we provide. But we also have so much more. We have mailing templates, we have email marketing strategy, we have open house campaigns, buyer and seller guides. Like, we have really all of the marketing that you need for your business within our membership and our content vault. And then I would say probably one of the most important parts of our membership is the community and the support. So we have trainings, which you'll see me in if you join us, and we have an amazing community of about 5,000-ish agents growing every day that are just showing up, supporting each other, all doing the same thing, but doing it differently and building it for their own unique brand. And I think that's what's so cool.
That is awesome. If you were to give, like, let's say an agent is like, I'm on social media, I'm consistent on there, but I'm not getting new people that I don't know. Like, I'm not getting new clients reaching out to me. What's like maybe some advice that you'd give them?
I would say number one, look at the content that you're sharing. Are you making content for the people that you want to attract? Like, are you making local content that's interesting, or are you just talking about showing the real estate listings that you have? Like, think about number one, what you're sharing. Number two, I think this is something a lot of people sleep on as far as a growth strategy, and that's engagement. And what I mean by that is going out and spending as much time as you focus on your posts, you should be spending as much time actually trying to connect with and have real conversations with real people. So going out to maybe like your local city accounts that people might follow, or people looking to move somewhere, or they're new somewhere, they tend to follow like the local city account, of whatever city you live in. I would try to connect with people on there. And also, like, wherever your ideal client hangs out, look for them on Instagram. Like, what places do they go to? What coffee shops do they hang out at? What parks, if they're families, like, where are they going? And look for those places on Instagram and who recently posted there, and try to connect with those people. That's building new relationships, but I would spend just as much time nurturing the ones that you already have, because those are people who have already said, hey, I like you, I follow you, I want to see more from you. So we need to nurture the relationships we already have. So that looks like going through your story bubbles every day and replying to people genuinely when it's relevant, not just like emojis or like, oh my God, love this, like genuine comments like, oh my gosh, my dog does that too, it's so funny, things that you really relate to with people, and just strengthening those relationships too.
Tell me if this is you. You're between a showing and school pickup, and you realize you haven't posted on Instagram in 2 weeks. You want to show up online, you've heard it can work, but between the kids, the clients, and everything else, content is always the thing that falls off the list. But when it's working, DMs start flooding in from people saying, I want to work with you. Take it from Elena, a busy mom who sold 8 million from Instagram in 1 year, Katie, who hit 3.5 million in 6 months as a brand new agent, and Lauren, who sold 5 million from Instagram just after 1 year. They all lean on Coffee and Contracts, a marketing membership that gives you the content, the strategy, and a weekly content plan so you never have to figure out what to post. That's the difference between wasting time on leads who ghost and attracting your people even when you're offline. Moms and real estate listeners can try a free week of Coffee and Contracts content. Head to the show notes, click the link, and if you love it, use code MIRE for $20 off your membership.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes people overthink this, but they do want like a cadence of, okay, like what's like a best strategy. And one thing that's helped me a ton is I put on my calendar, I put a task like in the morning, 15 minutes. And I say 15 minutes and I put whatever it is. So it could be Instagram, it could be in the Moms in Real Estate Facebook group. Because if it's not on my calendar, I don't do it. And as busy moms, like that's something that I have found is I just forget. So if I have it in there, and I actually learned this from one of our other Moms in Real Estate, Kayla Adamson, and she does it like 3 different times a day. So if you're struggling with remembering, just put it in there and you'll be like, okay, I have to cross that task off. Is there anything that's helped you, like maybe even blocking out like content creation like once a month for a whole day or something?
Yeah, I even use our Coffee and Contrast templates too for my content. Like my content, my audience is agents, but I use our hooks and our templates and stuff like that. So that saves me a ton of time. And I would say that I try to look at like from a monthly view, like, okay, what is like a theme that I'm talking about this month? And I try not to reinvent the wheel. I talk about the same things a lot, just I unpack more of this area of it sometimes than others, or, you know, I kind of repeat it or repackage it in a different way because that's what I do. That's what I talk about. And so it doesn't really change. And you have to think about new people are coming in all the time that haven't heard something you've said before, but also social media is such a noisy place. Like you really have to post something like 10 times for someone to really hear it. So you're never saying the same thing over and over too much, I think. I think we tend to think we need something like new and fresh and different, but you know, you really, if you stay within those guardrails and like your niche, I think that helps with content creation and just looking at like a monthly view. Okay, this is like the general theme of what I'm talking about. These are the posts that I'm going to do. And then I revisit like on a weekly basis to actually produce them out, like if I have to create graphics or something like that. And then sometimes it's on the fly, like the day, at least I know, like, because I mapped it out what I'm supposed to post that day, and I just like quickly whip it up. There's a tip that I heard from Brock Johnson. He is somebody in the social media space. He's on Instagram. He teaches people of all industries, social media, Instagram. And I got to hear him speak at an event for creators last year. And his whole thing was like, stop spending so much time thinking about the content, just post the content. Like it's data, it's feedback. He gives himself like 5 minutes. And if the reel is going to take longer than 5 minutes, like he's not posting it. And so I think if you give yourself time constraints, you're just going to figure out what you figure out within that amount of time. But I think being consistent is more than like, consistency is more important than frequency. Like if you tell me I don't have a whole lot of time, like if you were to post good content consistently 4 days a week, I'd rather see that than you throwing up like AI slop every day just to check a box.
Yeah, please don't do that. I'm like, oh, it's so bad. Okay, I know like I get asked this question kind of often, and I think it's silly, but it's like, people are like, oh my gosh, well, if I am using a graphic that other agents are doing, like then all of a sudden like everyone has the same content. And it's like, I'd love to hear your answer. I know my response to that, but you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, we get this a lot too, just because it is a membership and we drop monthly content. I feel like there's so many ways to use it. Like you could go back to old months. We have a content vault with a lot of different stuff. Like if you really want to mix it up, you can. There's endless options, hundreds of choices, but you can always tweak the hook. Like for example, if you focus on, you know, dog moms and young professionals in Philadelphia, that's a completely different person than someone who focuses on families and living in the suburbs, right? So like you would just want to change those hooks to be descriptors that match the people that you serve. So that's number one. Number two is you and we help you with this in the membership, like developing your personal brand and making it look like your own, but you're going to put in your own photos, your own visuals of your area, and you probably are going to use your own like colors and fonts and things that make it look like yours. And it's just it's really funny because we have like a group chat where it's called Member Content in the Wild, and we're sharing with our team internally, like when we see someone's post, so we can like track it and cheer them on, like when it performs
Oh, I
really
love
well.
that. I've been on it before.
Yeah, yeah. So like there's times where we're like, wait, is this ours? Because people change it so much and they really like make it their own. Sometimes we're not even sure. We're like, I think that's ours. That was the base of our hook that we did. So that's how customizable it is and how much you can run with it.
Yeah, I always changed it to my brand fonts depending on what I'm posting about and then my brand colors. The other thing is, I tell people, you're trying to get buyers and sellers, and these are agents, right? So we see all these other real estate agents post,
Yeah.
but your buyers and sellers don't. And I always think about this through the lens of like my sister's an esthetician and she's like, oh my gosh, like all the estheticians post whatever. I'm like, you're the only esthetician I see. So that's super irrelevant, right? So
Yeah.
just even like getting out of your own feed and being like, oh yeah, this isn't what they're seeing. So there's so many things to like to say back to that.
No, that's such a good point. I feel like I didn't even think of that, but no, it's seriously so true. I mean, you're connecting with and following other agents, and I also people get like sometimes people get salty about other agents following them or interacting with their content, but I think that's a blessing. Like those are referrals, those are relationships, and people, my best. Like some of my best friends in my life are agents that I've met over Instagram in the last 7 years.
Oh my gosh, me too. Uh-huh.
Don't be afraid of other agents following you and connecting with you on Instagram. If anything, they're like supporters and cheerleaders, and you just never know. It could be a referral. So,
Or a best friend. I totally agree. I always laugh when people are like, oh my gosh, she's ripping off my content. I'm like, dude, nothing anyone does is original. Like, we're all ripping off each other's content at the end of the day. Like, just be like, take it as a compliment. And it is, you're so true. Like, I can't think, I can think of so many great friends I have through this industry. So embrace it because it's the good outweighs the bad. Okay, so your podcast is launched. We definitely want you guys to go check out her podcast. Coffee and Contracts is a partner of Moms in Real Estate, so you definitely will see all of that in the show notes. You guys should check it out. I think we have like an offering too where it's like a week free. So even if you guys are like, okay, I want to go take a peek at this, go get a bunch of content for a week for free and see if it's something you want to use.
yep.
What else do I need to tell them?
Well, if you join Coffee and Contracts, we get to hang out more because we have a weekly coaching call that I'm on every week. So we definitely we have a really fun community. It's very similar to Moms in Real Estate in that sense too. I feel like there's so much overlap. Like it's so fun seeing people in both communities. But yeah, try the free week. If you need any support, you can always reach out to me directly on Instagram. I'm at the Alyssa Stalker, and I'm always happy to help answer questions. I don't gatekeep, so feel free to reach out.
Yeah. Well, and you guys, honestly, one other thing to think about is like you should be putting yourself in a room where you're getting referral opportunities consistently. And so obviously like the Moms in Real Estate Referral Network is super specific to that, right? Like you're signing up to be in the referral network. We have a monthly call. But if you're like, okay, I do that and I'm part of Coffee and Contracts and I'm in these training calls, it will literally happen if you're consistent with it, where it's like people are going to associate Kristen with Gilbert, Arizona, and I will get referrals if I do a good job in those groups. So you should intentionally be putting yourself in. If it's not Moms in Real Estate Referral Network, if it's not Coffee and Contracts, for God's sakes, go find something to where you're like, I'm showing up in these rooms consistently and representing my local market. Because that is a huge, huge missed opportunity. I see agents that don't have any plan around their referral network. Okay, well, everyone's going to go follow you. Everyone's going to check out Coffee and Contracts. I've loved having you on. And next time I'm in California, we're going to go hang out. And when you're in Arizona,
Yes,
gotta
and you're
call.
coming on Above Asking next.
That'll be fun. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you later.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye.
If you like this episode, make sure to like and to subscribe so that we show up in your feed. And if you want to stay close, make sure to check out the show notes because I have a lot of ways for you to do that.